Bill Belichick is now the coach of the North Carolina football program. He's brought in Mike Lombardi to sit next to him and be nice as a reward to kissing his ass in the media for the last decade. That's the payoff. Well done. That's like, I got a job at a startup. Now it's going to pay me half of what I used to make, but when it goes public, I'm going to get all this money, and then it doesn't go public for 40 years.
But you know what, Fred? It's probably a pretty decent paying job. Especially if Bill's making $10 million a year, you're going to be the general manager for me. I'm making $10 million. I don't know how you get him, even Lombardi. I don't know how you get him to take that job unless you're going to give him like a decent salary.
How much does Howard Stern make?
The $100 million a year.
$250 million a year. How much does Richard Christie make? I'm serious. If you have to distribute the wealth,
$80,000 a year.
Correct. So no.
But wouldn't in that scenario, wouldn't Lombardi be closer to a Fred Norris than he would be a
no?
Richard
Fred and
Christie?
Robin would be the offensive and defensive coordinators. He would not even be Gary. Gary and Fred
is the offense.
According to everyone I know that has been associated with the show, Gary, Fred, and Robin are very well compensated. Everyone else is not at all, and so bad. And I don't know that to be a fact, but I've been told that by at least a couple people.
See, I don't know about general managers on a college football team.
Well, it's a new thing.
It's a new thing.
And if what else is Lombardi
what do they
going to do? How much do you think Lombardi gets for his media?
Oh God,
30,000?
No,
I don't know.
No.
I have no idea. $10.
How about this? No, I don't think he has a contract with anyone
Other than VSiN?
I don't think he has probably a contract. I bet you that's like an hourly situation or like they're paid by the show or something ridiculous.
All right, the GM of Alabama football.
Okay, well, there's a difference, but go ahead. You think there's a difference between North Carolina and Alabama?
But I'm giving
these are
I'm giving you some
state
numbers.
employees, so these
right.
salaries should be available
They
to
are.
us.
$800,000.
Good God.
Sean McGee, Michigan, over $1 million a year. James Blanchard, Texas Tech, $400,000.
Okay, so if Texas Tech makes $400,000 and Michigan makes $1 million, then I would bet he makes 10% of $1 million. I bet you he makes 10% of what Michigan makes. I bet you makes $100,000.
I'm going to go $200,000, and we're going to find out.
And then we're going to rewind and go: is that worth 10 years of ruining your dignity to go land a $200,000 job?
It is if
I don't want to speak for him.
It is if your soul's been eaten away for all this time.
Well, he's in charge of his soul, John.
Okay.
No other man is in charge of his actions but him.
Well,
All right, Phil, what's your take on all of this?
Yeah, I do think it comes back to the idea of control to me. He wanted to control the situation. He took himself out of the running for potential NFL gigs a month before a bunch of them will open up, conceivably, right? There are going to be jobs that are won or lost over the course of the next 4 weeks of the NFL season. And so he didn't even want to get there. And so he's trying to control his situation. He doesn't want to be embarrassed again, strike out again in the NFL conversation, in my opinion. I also think this might be, for Bill, the perfect job in that it's probably the one place that's available right now that would give him everything he wants and be able to pay him millions of dollars. Right? What other program in college football, never mind the NFL, let's just remove all of that, because he's taken himself out of it, and because there's not an NFL team out there that would give him the program that he wants.
It's got to be a big school that somehow does not have a big football program,
and would not have the leverage to say, none of these jobs are open. But he wouldn't be able to go to Washington or Oregon or Georgia or Alabama and say, I need all of this done my way. They would say, no, you know what, Bill? We actually have a bunch of other great options.
And Phil, they'd never pay him. They wouldn't hire him. A big college program wouldn't hire him. An NFL team, as we've learned, would not hire him. He wasn't even a top 3 candidate for any of the jobs last year, regardless of whatever control he wanted. If he wanted all the control, great. If he wanted none of it, great. They didn't want him as a coach. So, yeah, he's smart enough, and I will say he's smart enough. I make fun of him all the time, but he's smart enough to know, okay, this is like a unicorn. This is a big school with a bad football program that's willing to take
Desperate.
to throw a Hail Mary on me. And Like Ohio State's not doing this right. Like Texas Tech's not doing. Texas A&M's not doing this. What, you're making a face?
No, I'm just trying to think of other schools that would fit that category. Vanderbilt, Cal, Stanford, something
Vanderbilt,
like that.
yeah.
Purdue, I think, was available this offseason. Would Purdue?
No, I don't.
Give them $10 million in the complete control of the program. Maybe, I guess. But
well, Purdue hasn't won the Big Ten in like seriously 120 years. No, and Vanderbilt, no. Vanderbilt wouldn't do it either. An SEC school that beat Alabama beat Georgia or Alabama.
They beat Alabama.
They beat Alabama this year. No, I don't think that they would do that. For
Cal and
Belichick.
Stanford, I mean, two good schools, academic like UNC, programs that technically are in a Power 4 conference.
No, because if I'm Stanford, I've had success in the past, and I want a guy that's going to build a program, like that's going to be there for a long time. I don't want a guy like a Lane Kiffin that comes in, that's in and out. Even though Lane Kiffin's a young college coach that had a lot of success at Ole Miss. That's a bad example, but it is my example in that I don't want a guy that's overnight like he did to Tennessee. Like that just comes in and has the program if I'm a blue blood program. And I consider Stanford a borderline blue blood program.
By the way, Purdue did win the Big Ten championship in 1929. So it's only been 95 years.
My bad.
Not 100.
Because I know Indiana, it's been less than Purdue. I saw it on Instagram.
What is that face?
Whoa, what just happened
That's
there?
unsettling.
Good Lord.
What the hell? Are you having a spell?
What was that?
I'm tired.
Oh, man. Phil, did you see that? Well,
I did.
How would you describe that face?
It made everyone laugh but Phil.
You
I
being the
laughed.
wordsmith, how would you describe the face you just saw?
Terrifying.
All right, so Drake May did not have a lot to say about Bill going to North Carolina.
No, do you think alums are excited about this? I saw Dayami Brown, as a receiver for the Commanders, was asked about this, and he just sort of laughed it off. I could tell you.
Here's how I would think about it. I would be a little hesitant to have my program put under the microscope and put in the spotlight if I didn't think it were ready for it. So if I'm an alum or I'm somebody who just left there and had some success, and if I think, God, they've got some issues there, now they're going to put all these guys, because ultimately it's going to come down to the players. Who do you have? How much can they be coached? And if they're going to be under the spotlight that much and everyone's going to be watching them at least for the first 3-4 weeks of the season, you don't want to see them get off to a 1-3 record, because that would be embarrassing for your school.
Right. I think he has already made a change, though, at North Carolina. It sounds like reportedly they have bumped their NIL funds from $4 million to $20 million, which suddenly makes them players for some of these kids that, I find it really hard to envision Bill Belichick, whether it's on Zoom, in a living room somewhere, winning the hearts and minds of some of the top prospects in high school football to come to his program. But what he can do is say, we're going to give you $1 million to come to our program to compete with Alabama, Georgia, Texas, etc. And so they could get the talent they need. And my guess is he'll be able to pick up on the schematic changes from the pro game to the college game relatively quickly. He is a smart guy, as Fred so astutely pointed out. He'll figure that part out.
Okay, I know my reasons for it. Why do you say he would not be able to win the hearts and minds of eager young high school football players?
I'm just not. I don't think we have any evidence of that he would be able to do that. I just connecting with people on a personal level,
right?
And selling them. You have to be a salesman.
Yeah,
a college football head coach. That's a significant portion of the job.
And I'd be really concerned about these kids. The transfer portal is open before the bowl season, and there's playoff teams. I think probably every playoff team, but I know there's playoff teams that kids have already entered the portal. Before the games. So you're actively having to recruit your own players as well to get them to stay with the program. I know they got what did I hear? They have a 4-star quarterback going there, and the kid said he's going to still go. So I guess he did that. So congratulations.
Is Bill going to be brought in as a closer on some of these deals, because he's going to have the recruiting staff?
Maybe, and my guess is he will be able to, his name will carry weight with the parents of some of these kids.
Yeah, but again,
with the kids themselves, I'm not so sure. The last time he won a Super Bowl, these guys were in 6th grade.
But it's not just that, Phil. Wouldn't
7th grade?
Wouldn't part of it be, okay, you are a 5-star athlete, but there are dozens of 5-star athletes that go to college thinking they're going to be a pro. I can get you there. If you come and play 2 years with me, I will make sure you are an NFL product by the time you leave. To me, that's the close.
That's all well and good. If he can't promise these kids playing time and or money, those are the two things that are going to matter most to them. Because you can say I'm going to get you ready to play in the NFL. Well, if you can't guarantee that I'm going to be on the field, Bill, I don't know how I'm getting ready for the NFL. I'll go somewhere where they will play me. So that to me is the biggest difference. You could say that the NFL game and the college game are as similar as they've ever been. To me, Bill is not accustomed to living in a world where the players have as much leverage as college athletes now have.
Yeah.
He can't just cut somebody off of his roster because he feels like they're not giving enough in practice, or he didn't like the way they played during the camp leading up to the fall season.
Because they're all making money.
That stuff it's a little bit different now. I don't know how quickly you want to be pulling scholarships from kids and just letting them into the transfer portal because you don't like them very much.
Well, I don't know if the coach can pull the scholarship. I mean, Goldman kept his scholarship when he left BC's football team. I don't think he met with the coach to keep his scholarship. I think he met with someone with the university.
Well, maybe he has to meet with Lombardi. Maybe the athletes will have to meet with Lombardi to decide
as much control as he will have there, I feel like it still won't be to the level that he had it in New England, and so that will take some adjusting for him.
Yeah.
Because he could run the show. He determined everything, and now these kids, they're entitled. Their personalities are different. Their needs are different. Their demands are going to be different, and so I think all of that is going to
maybe the
be a
relationship,
little bit of a stunner in some ways.
Maybe he always knew he was going to college, and his current personal relationship has been a means to try and tap into that young mindset.
I heard that discussed honestly on a national radio program.
No, they did not.
I swear to God, they were talking about it seriously. And it was ESPN radio, and they said he knows about TikTok and Instagram because of his girlfriend.
Okay,
and they weren't kidding.
Oh.
I mean, that's one way to go about it. Listen, everybody's got airtime to fill.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.